Hello, my dear students. Uh, Welcome back to our video lecturing. I hope that all of our exams, second sem exam is over. Now we can entirely focus on this third semester. And I hope that the sessions that I have given last 2 weeks is helpful for you to understand or to get into the subject, and you might all have at least seen the videos and note down the things that we have discussed. In last video, what we have seen is, or what we have discussed is, why different branches of people, or why different people use the statistics. Okay, so we have seen that why different branches in science, in social science, in sports, in medicine, in many branches, everyone using statistics. Okay, so when we discuss such kind of things, we left one thing, our subject, economics. Okay, so economics, as you know, that it is extensively depends on statistics for various purpose. Okay, so in this video, what I'm going to tell you is why economics needs statistics, or why we are heavily depends on statistics for analysis of various purposes. Okay, so each things we will see one by one. Okay, so it was William Pretty in his books Political Arithmetic, essays on mankind and political arithmetic. In this book, he was the first person who find that there is a great interaction between economics and statistics. So the interaction between economics and statistics was first analyzed by Sir William Petty in his book Essays on Mankind and Political Arithmetic. Okay, it is basically a book published in German language. Okay, so why economics use statistics? That we will see one by one. Okay, so what's the duty of an economics? What is the fundamental duty of an economist? Formulating economic policies, developing new economic theories and model to demonstrate an economic problems or in economic relationships, or evaluating in economic policies and verifying in economic theories or economic relationship. This is the fundamental thing that an economist have to do. First one, formulate economic policies for the country or for the economy. So we have a lots of economic policies in each and every day. The state government as well as the central government and various other bodies, they are formulating various economic policies. So the economist is behind the curtain of all this kind of policy formulations. Then second things, to develop new theories or new economic models to demonstrate an economic problems or economic relationships. This is the second thing that what an economist have to do. And third thing, to evaluate the formulated policies, its pros and cons, and verifying economic theories and relationships. Okay, so for all these three things, for doing all these three things, we need economic data. Okay, so we need to collect the real economic data from the pupil or from the concerned team. We have to process the data. Okay, we have to analyze the data, or we have to disseminate the data. Okay, so all these things we can do only with the help of the statistics. Okay, so for doing all these three things that we have mentioned, formulate the economic policy, developing new policies or new theories, and evaluating economic policies, or verify economic theories, for all these things we need the help of the statistics. Without the help of the statistics we cannot do any of the things. Okay, so that's the one thing. Then there is a separate branches of statistics that we call economic statistics. Okay, so all economic statistics is deals with all these kind of things. Okay, collection of the data, classification of the data, then presentation of the data, then analysis of the data. These are all analysis of the economic data. Okay, these are all done by a separate branches of statistics called economic statistics. Okay, but in later years, after the 1950 and 60s, a new branches of statistics and economics called econometrics. Okay, this is developed, and now this econometric has replaced this what's called economic statistics. Okay, now in economics, in all the policy formulation, in evaluating the theories or in verifying the economic theories and relationships, we are using econometrics rather than economic statistics. Okay, so econometric is a new branches of economics which consist of economic theories, statistics, and some of the mathematics, plus the computing or the computer softwares. Okay, so these are the new branches of economics and statistics. Okay, so what we have seen that we have in early period we have used certain basics of the statistics, but now what we are doing is, in order to verify, formulate, or evaluate the economic theories or policies, we are using sophisticated econometric tools rather than simply using the very outdated statistical tool. Okay, so that is the first thing. What is that? Why we need statistics in economics? First one, evaluate sorry formulate economic theories, economic policies, economic relationships, evaluate the economic theories or relationship or policies, then verify the economic theories. For all these things are fundamental concern of the economist. Okay, for doing this we need statistics. Okay, that's the first point. Then look at the second point. Statistics help us or help the economist in giving a quantitative expression to an economic theories or in economic relationships. Okay, we have learned in from plus 2 level itself, or from the last 1 year in federal college, you have learned many economic theories. Okay, so what is the main idea of an economic theory? In economics we are giving some qualitative statement. We are giving some qualitative statement like, whenever the price increases, the quantity demand will be decreased. This is a qualitative statement. Okay, whenever the income increases, consumption will also increases. This is an economic theory. Okay, so this is just like a mere statement made by an economist. Okay, so it is the duty of the statistician or statistical or economic statisticians to give a quantitative expression to an economic theory or economic relationship. Okay, look at an example. You take your own example. Demand. Okay, we know that the demand for a commodity depends on price, income of the consumer, price of the related commodity, taste and preference, so on and so forth. Okay, so when we discuss these things, we have learned that there is a concept called price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand. Okay, So these are all certain concepts. Okay, so let me ask you one thing. Can you find out the income elasticity of a commodity? Yes, we can do. How we can do? For a commodity called milk, commodity called milk. What is income elasticity of milk? It means that whenever your income increases, if milk consumption is also increasing, then there is a positive income elasticity. Okay, so we can check this for each country or each different state using certain statistical technique. Okay, if you look at this here, this is the income elasticity of demand in the real world. For milk, it is 1.07. What is the? It is more elastic. Mutton and goat more elastic. Beef in India less elastic. Okay, so this says that we have learned certain concept like demand for a commodity, income elasticity, price elasticity, cross elasticity. This all can be measured by collecting certain information about what we want to find out. Okay, then in last year you also you might learn the concept called Cobb-Douglas production function. What is this Cobb-Douglas production function? Any idea about that? It is a industrial production function. Okay, so within equation, using an equation, we can find that what is that. Okay, so Q or output is equal to a technological parameter into capital raised to alpha into labor raised to 1 minus alpha or beta. What it says? It means that output is always depends on how much labor you used in the production process, or how much capital you have used in the production process. What is the technical efficiency of your productions? Okay, so suppose we want to analyze what is the production function, or what is the production function coefficients of Kerala's industrial sector. We have an industrial sector in Kerala. Okay, so what is the production function of the Kerala industrial sector? Can you find out it? Yes, we can find out it. Okay, so look at here, in a paper or in an analysis, a researcher has found that MPK in Kerala is 1.22 and MPL in Kerala is 0.63. What does it mean? So this is how we got this value, you know. This value we have got using certain statistical tool. We have to collect the data or information about our industries. Okay, then we have to do some type of statistical analysis called regression. Okay, so before doing regression, we have to check various statistical tests for that. So after all these, we will get some values. Okay, this value will give you some policy analysis or policy informations or policy hints. It means that, look at here, 1.22 and 0.63. What does it mean? It means that in Kerala, if you add one more unit of capital to the existing productions, it will increase the industrial productivity by 1.22%. If you add one more capital unit to the existing production function of existing productions, okay, it increase your productions 1 by 1.22. Whereas if you increase or if you add or if you recruit one more additional labor to your industrial sector, it will only increase your output by 0.632. Okay, so this is how we go using some statistical analysis. This is giving you a lots of informations, lots of policy suggestions. What does it mean? In industrial sector, don't go for recruiting more laborers. Instead, you go for mechanizing, or you go for more capital equipments. or more machinery you need. Okay, so more machinery will boost your industrial sector than recruiting more labors. Okay, this is what this is says, what this information of this statistical result says. Okay, so one more example. In your degree level you might have learned, or sorry, in your plus 2 level you might have learned that consumption. Okay, in macroeconomics, in second part of the plus 2 there's a macroeconomics. In that you might learn that consumptions. What's consumption? Consumption is nothing but the relationship between consumption and income of a person. Okay, and there is a celebrated theory in economics or in consumption function put forward by Keynes. It says that whenever your income increases, your consumption will also increases. Okay, but less than proportionate to your increases in consumption. Whenever there is a increases in your income, your consumption will also increases, but it is always less than that of your increases in income. Okay, this is nothing but Keynesian consumption functions. Okay, it means that MPC, marginal propensity to consume, you might have learned that change in consumption due to change in income, it will always lies in between 0 to 1. Okay, so this was a real qualitative statement made by Keynes. But after the Keynes, a large number of people examines whether this Keynesian idea about the consumption function is true or not. Okay, if you look at the table, from the table itself you can understand that in India there are large different types of research has been done in different period of times. Then all says that, okay, you look at the screen, MPC 0.9, 0.71 up to 0.81, all says that Keynesian idea about the consumption function hold true in the case of India. Okay, so what I am trying to say that in order to arrive at this type of a conclusion, we need statistics. Without the help of the statistics, economics cannot make the qualitative statement to quantitative statement or quantitative. Okay, then look at the next things. It helps economics in giving a quantitative expression to an economic problem. We have the main, as I told you in the last slide or the previous slide, the main concern of an economist is to give policy suggestions. Okay, why we need policies? The policies are always aimed at to correct certain things. Okay, so economic policies are always look at certain economic problem, or in order to overcome certain economic problem we are devising or we are formulating economic policies. Okay, then if you look at any of the economy, especially the underdeveloped economy or developing economy, their main economic problems, the major 3 economic problems or fundamental economic problems are poverty, unemployment and inequality. Okay, so this poverty, unemployment and inequality, these are all the major problems that faced by each and every economy. So in order to learn about these things, how much poverty are there, how much people are suffering from poverty, what are the different types of poverty, how to estimate the poverty, okay, what are the different types of unemployment, how to measure the unemployments, okay, what's unemployment rate, okay, then how to measure inequalities, okay, these are all involved certain statistics. With the help of the statistics only we can do this kind of analysis. You look at this graph. What is it? It's a picture or image appeared in a newspaper, month-wise unemployment rate percentage. So if you want to analyze or if you want to give this kind of a graphical expression to a big problem, unemployment, we need statistics. Okay, look at the next things. India's poverty profile. In a small picture, the entire thing about India's poverty line is given. This can be only using the statistic can be only done. Look at the third things. The richest 10% of India having 77.4% of the national wealth, and the poorest is having only 4.7%. This is really shows how much inequality of income and wealth prevail in Indian economies. Okay, so all these things are real economic problems. So it helps statistic help the economist to give certain quantitative expression or to express this problem quantitatively. There are this much unemployed peoples, this much people are below this much people are living below poverty lines, okay, and this much people are only earning this much incomes. So for giving this type of a quantitative expressions, we need statistics. Without statistics we cannot do this kind of quantitative expressions. Okay, look at the next things. Statistics help the economists to find cause and effect relationship between two different set of data or two different types of variables. Okay, cause and effect relationship. What does it mean? There are certain variables that are causing to or that are leading to certain other things. Okay, look at an example. A hike in interest rate. As we know that in each 4 months or in each quarter, the Reserve Bank of India reviews its interest rate policy or what we call monetary policies. Okay, so in each quarter it may review its interest rate. Sometimes it may be increased, sometimes it may be decreased. So whatever may be the increase or decrease, it is the cause. The increases in the interest rate is the cause. It will have a substantial effect on different sectors of the economy. It will have effects on banking, it will have effects on deposits, okay, financial sectors, stock markets, people lending of the banks, saving of the people. It will have a huge it will have an effect on housing loans. Okay, so the RBI policies or policy reviews are substantial effects on almost all sectors of the economy. So we want to learn, if RBI interest rate is increased by this much, how much it will have impact on people saving, people consumption, bank lending rate, people's approach to bank for loans. Okay, so you look at here, there's a picture that says that, okay, for a home loan, for a borrower from a bank, a person who has borrowed from a bank amount 50 lakh at a rate of 8.5. Okay, so he has to pay 54.14 lakh extra rupee as interest rate. Okay, so for this borrower, how a small increases from 8.5 to 8.75, 25 paisa difference only. Okay, how this will affect his total borrowings capacity or total money or total interest or total amount of interest he has to pay. Okay, so within 21 years he has to pay around 59 lakh. He need to pay an additional amount of 5.39 lakh. Okay, so there is a small increases. This is a cost. Okay, it have an effect on others. How we can measure? Okay, so here we have got, he has to pay 5.39 lakh. How we got it? Using certain statistical analysis. Okay, Then look at the GST. We know that the government of India has adopted or replaced the existing tax structure and implemented a new indirect tax structure called goods and service tax or GST. Okay, so after GST, the introduction of GST have several impacts on retailers, wholesalers, final consumers. Okay, certain commodity tax has been increased, certain has reduced. Okay, so in order to analyze all these things, how GST affected the common people, if we want to learn that, we need statistics. Demonetizations, how demonetization impact the rural peoples, how demonetization affected the what we call just retail or land holding, or what we call, there is a real estate sector. Okay, how it affected the common people, how it affected the lenders, okay, how it affected the banks. Okay, so for all these things we can learn or we can study using statistics. You look at the recent lockdowns, we know that the lockdown has an unprecedented impact on various sectors. I affected, I am too affected, you are all affected. Okay, the purchasing power of the people affected because people are not allowed to go for work. Okay, the in shops and malls they are not opening it. Okay, they are not getting proper sales. So all these things will affect the overall gross domestic productions, countries export, countries employment, countries unemployment. Okay, poverty, then migration. It will have an unprecedented impact on all these sectors. So if we want to analyze, you look at this. Okay, so this is a recent study done by India Today, I think. Okay, look at these things. Mining and quarrying completely affecting this lockdown, and there is a 0.31 lakh loss. Manufacturing sector 2.16 lakh crore losses. Okay, the trade, hotel, transport, communication services 2.42 losses, 2.42 lakh crores losses. Okay, so these are all estimated using certain statistical tools. Okay, so what I'm trying to say at, there are causes, there are reasons. Okay, then a hike in interest rate by a Reserve Bank of India is a cause. It will have impact on others, that is the effect. GST implementation is the cause, it has impacts. Demonetization, lockdown, these are all certain cause. Okay, it have unprecedented impact on various sectors. In order to measure how this cause is affected, we need statistics. Okay, then it helps economists to forecast and predict the future economic variables. If you take any newspapers, we can see that GDP is likely to be fall by this much percentage in the next year. This is what we call the predictions. Okay, we are predicting or we are finding out a future value for an economic variables. Okay, how they are doing it? Without looking for anything, they are not simply saying it. Okay, they are doing certain analysis. What happened into the past? Okay, how the economy experienced in the past. On the basis of past performance of the economy, they are predicting what will happen to the future. Okay, so this kind of a prediction analysis you can see in each and every day in the newspapers. GDP is likely to increase or decrease in the coming quarter, or inflation is likely to be fall in this coming years. Okay, then population growth is expected to be negative for Kerala in the coming decade. Okay, so this kind of a prediction analysis or forecasting that we can see in newspapers. This prediction or forecasting is simply done by using statistical tools. Okay, that we will learn in this semester itself, how to do the forecasting. The next thing, it helps the economists to present the data and information. Economists do analyze a lots of data, economic data. You look at the budget presented by the finance minister. After the next day, you take the newspaper, you can see a large number of graphs and diagrams. Where monies come from, where monies goes. Okay, then central government expenditure, the expected expenditure, the expected revenues, then fiscal deficit, revenue deficits, then growth of the economy. Each and everything is presented using some graphs. Okay, so economics extensively use or borrow the graph analysis from the statistics. So with proper graphs analysis only, with the proper graphs and diagrams only, the economist can present its analysis to the common people. Okay, so it helps, the statistic help the economist to present the data in a more systematic and convenient manner. Okay, then the next thing, statistics help the economists in understanding the functioning of the economy, how an economy is functioning, how the Indian economy is functioning. Have you ever think about it? We have different varieties of things. Look at the GDP. We know that the GDP, the GDP growth of India is 7.5. This is only that we are seeing, but we have never thought of how the finance minister arrived at this figure 7.5. In the backdrop or in the background, there are certain works. We have to calculate the GDP using different methods. Okay, then we will get some data. This data we have to convert into a certain base here. Okay, then that we have to analyze, or that we have to compare with the previous GDP. Then we are getting the economic growth. Okay, so we are just seeing GDP, but in calculating GDP, it involves certain statistics. Okay, then if you want to compare the states, how different states are performing, how Kerala is performing, how Gujarat is performing, how MP and UP is performing, or how India and China is performing. In order to do all such analysis, we need to know certain statistics. Look at the inflation. In each and every day, you can see that inflation is likely to fall or inflation is likely to hike. Okay, but we never thought of how they are getting this inflation rate, how they are calculating India's inflation is 2.5 or 3.5. In background, there are certain works. That work an economist have to do. Okay, we have retail inflation or wholesale inflation. We have consumer price inflation. Okay, we are producer based inflations, we are labor based inflation, there are large number of inflation of that. How we are getting these inflations? In order to understand the concept of inflation, the concept of GDP, we need statistics. Okay, then look at the unemployment. In newspaper someday you can see that the unemployment is increased after this lockdown. How they are measuring India's unemployment? Are they include me and you as unemployed? Are they include your family member, your father is not going for any work from home? Is he included in this analysis? We have never thought of that. Okay, so unemployment, how government is arriving at unemployment rate? What is unemployment rate? Who is unemployed? Okay, who are all in labor force? Who are all excluded from the labor force? In order to analyze all these things, we need statistics. Look at the population in each decade. Okay, we are getting information about the whole population or all demographic feature of the society or country. It is called census. Okay, census is purely an economic process, includes a lots of statistics. Okay, even if it is a economic process or economic measurement or measuring the things about the populations, it involves certain statistics. What is the decadal growth rate? What is life expectancy? Literacy? Okay, then birth rate, death rate, then effective protection rate. The lots of information are providing in this population surveys or what we call census. Okay, so in order to analyze what is there in the census, what are the information that the census is providing, we need statistics. Okay, poverty. How to measure poverty? Who is a poor? Okay, what are the different kind of measurement used to analyze or used to measure the poverty? Okay, then look at the inequality. How to measure inequality? How we can say that these people are getting this much income only, but others are getting huge incomes. There are differences. How they are arriving at such type of conclusions? These are all using statistics. Okay, look at the international trade structure, compost of the trade. That means where India is importing, where India is exporting, whether the export and import is matching, all this deficit, how to measure deficits. Okay, so in order to analyze all these things or in order to understand all these things, we need statistics. So if we have good information about if we want to get a complete and perfect information about the economy, how the economy is functioning, we need to know certain statistics. If we know statistics well, then we can understand economics and economy well. Clear? Yes. Look at the next things. It helps to formulate various index in economics and finance. You might learn or you might heard about CPI. It's not Communist Party of India but Consumer Price Index. WPI, Wholesale Price Index. Human Development Index. Gender related human development index. Human poverty index. Multi-dimensional poverty index. Okay, then what we call Nifty, Sensex. Okay, these are all certain statistics or certain index created for certain purpose. Okay, so these are all certain index. Index is nothing but an aggregate average. Okay, average of many commodity or many things. Okay, that we will learn in semester itself, how we can construct indexes. Okay, so in order to construct indexes, we need statistics. Okay, in economics and finance, we are using or we are constructing a lots of statistical indexes or economic indexes. These are all we have borrowed. This concept and construction has been borrowed from statistics. Okay, and the last point, as we know that many people in economics have concentrated on economic research. Okay, so in what is economic research? In economic research, what we are doing that we have an economic problems and we are studying about what are the reasons and causes for these problems and how to remedy these problems. This is what we are doing in the economic research. Okay, so you look at an example. After this lockdown, many of the pupils who are working in abroad are coming back. There is a reverse migration happening. We know that this reverse migration is having a huge impact on the economic and social status of the households and thereby the society, because these people were getting enough revenue from their works from abroad, but now due to this coronavirus they cannot no longer work there. They are coming back, but they don't know how they can or when they can go back to their work. Okay, so they are not getting any revenues, they are not getting any incomes, their family will be in problems. Then the families um, purchasing power will be low, so this will affect the society, this will affect the business people, everyone. We want to learn these things. Okay, why they are getting back, why they are leaving their countries or their working places. Okay, then what are they doing here? How we can remedy this issue, how we can give the jobs to this. Okay, so in order to analyze this research or these problems, in research there will be one chapter. This chapter name is analysis chapter. Okay, so you have to get the real economic data from the respondents where you want to learn or where you want to study. Okay, then after that what you have to do is you have to analyze it. Okay, for this analysis you can use simple statistical tool or highly sophisticated statistical or econometric tools. Okay, so this is how we the economist people or the economist are using statistics. Okay, so apart from these mentioned points, there are large number of areas where the economics is also using the statistics. Okay, so it is your job, your duty to search what are the other areas where the economists have to use statistics. Okay, I hope that you will find such points. Okay, okay, I hope that this session is useful, and this I have given you certain aspects or certain areas where we use statistics. Okay, thank you.